Hi, this is actor, comedian Aaron Lee Johnson on the Keith Andrew Network. He is great. We had a great interview. Look out for my new movie, Where Sweet Dreams Die.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Keith Andrew Network. In this episode, I am your host, Keith Andrew, the host with a disability. Today, we have a great guest on the show, as you heard from the recommendation. With that being said, thank you for being here, and it's a real honor and privilege to have you here on the Keith Andrew Network.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
No, absolutely. The honor's all mine. With that being said, the first question I'll ask you, it's the top 15 questions. But I want to ask you, the first one I want to ask you is tell our audience a little bit about your background and the type of work that you do.
Okay. My background, I went to college for theater and art at College DuPage in Glen Ellen, which is Jim Belushi's alma mater. And I kind of like volunteered, I guess, for the ensemble right after college. And did that for maybe about 6 months. And then I went on to get a job after that. The real world was kind of calling me, and I had to provide for myself as far as expenses and everything. So I just started working. I started working at State Farm, worked in commodities downtown. I worked a variety of different positions, restaurants, things like that, delivered pizzas. And about 7 years ago, I was at State Farm and I was in an office working, and my boss came in the office and he said, "Hey," I was working business development and customer service. And he came in the office and he said, "Hey, you know what? Google Leads and robocalls do your job for a fraction of the price." And that was the last time I worked for State Farm ever. And after that, I kind of reassessed, like, what am I? This is the last time I'm probably going to work before I retire. The next 20 years, 25 years or so. What do you want to do? What do I want to do? And I said, "Hey, why don't we give acting a shot? Be an actor." And I hooked up with a company called 4 Star Casting out of Chicago. And they were a wonderful company. I worked on the sets of Empire and a lot of TV shows that were filmed in Chicago. They even had me work as a police officer on Candyman by Jordan Peele. So I had a great experience with 4 Star. I did Batwoman and everything, and Batgirl or whatever. I just did so many productions with them, and it got me into on the set and actually knowing what to do and everything, working as an extra. And then a couple years ago, I started to take on roles that were speaking roles, and that were a little bit more than doing the extra work in the background. And about 3 months ago, I did a movie where I had maybe about a 2-minute part where I had speaking lines, and it was a great experience. The movie's called Where Sweet Dreams Die. There's getting a lot of buzz on Hollywood from that. There's even talk from the LA Weekly, I believe, that the movie is like historical. They're comparing it to Taxi Cab or Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro. That's what they're comparing it to. And also the LA Times or the LA Weekly has also said that it might be nominated for diversity and inclusion because of the cast. The director is like Middle Eastern also, so I mean it's a really diverse cast, and they're talking about Oscar. They're talking about an Oscar already for it. The film's in post production. They're trying. The last I heard, they're trying to sell it to a major motion picture, and they're going to start doing that. It has been changed into a miniseries also. From the they did 3 hours of footage on the movie. I mean, it was 3 hours long. It was a really long movie. But that's going to be coming out soon, and I want to get together and reconnect with the cast again. I had such a good time on the movie. But like now, I'm just there's a writer's strike, SAG, AFTA striking. I take classes at Second City. The teachers are striking. So it's kind of like I'm just sitting at home saying, what do I do? What do I do? And I started to do stand-up comedy within the last 3 months. And I write sketches, I act stuff out, I do characters on stage. And I find it's very fulfilling. I mean, it's wonderful to be able to perform every night, because these movies and TV shows you only get like once a month doing stuff like this. I've been a doctor on Chicago PD, Chicago Med. Those are the same way. You only get a shot every month to do something like that. You're not continuously working every day like one of the characters that are there on the set every day, like the main characters or anything like that. But the comedy is really nice. You just get up there and they give you 3 minutes to do whatever you want. So it's great.
Absolutely.
It's great to perform all the time. So that's what I've been doing. And I got a sketch right now that it's about an angry pirate that wants a pizza, and I got that sketch, and it's just so fun to create and to do the character of it and perform and everything. It just puts a smile on my face. But that's basically what my history is, and what I've been doing the last 7 years as far as acting and doing comedy and writing.
Well, the one thing I would recommend is updating your IMDb, because if I'm looking down and I'm looking at it, and it's like, oh, where is Batgirl? And I'm like, I don't see Batgirl.
Oh, you know what? I don't usually put extra work on Batgirl.
All right, that makes sense.
That was all extra. Like there's something about the industry as far as acting. When you're wanted to progress as an actor and start getting into speaking roles, you can't put extra work or commercials or really minor roles where you're not even speaking on the resume. I have a agent, which is Susan Sherman from Ambassador Talent, which is my agent. And right away, when she took me on as a client, she said, hey, only put supporting and lead roles. And she said, it's really important that you don't take a lot of extra work or anything like that. Well, she said no extra work, but I don't know. I kind of still like to perform. So, but yeah, that's an important thing. And also my IMBD, those are more the major roles that I had where I have more screen time, like Candyman. You saw the back of my head as a cop, but in the beginning, I was kind of off in the distance also. So I got some more screen time on that. And plus, that's a major motion picture. I love to put the major motion pictures. I just did another film called Most Guys Are Losers that came out in November. And that was great. That starred Keith David, Andy Buckley from The Office. Miro Sorvino was in it. She's great. And it was just a fun time filming. I filmed for a couple days doing that with those stars. And it was just, it was quite an experience. I mean, it's stuff like that makes the job rewarding, is when you're in front of the camera or you're out there on Chicago PD with the lead characters and you're working a scene with them and they're telling you to move when the lead characters move and you're like, okay, now I'm in a scene with them. That's what makes it really exciting, and that's what keeps me going.
Well, I was going to ask you the rest of the questions, but I want to talk to you about the free shows. Chicago PD. Chicago. You also mentioned, Chicago. What's the easy one?
Chicago Med. Also, I do Chicago Med. I usually play like a doctor or a head doctor, and I'm kind of up in the distance taking notes or doing some sort of acting work or whatever I'm doing. Or the main characters are right by me, and I'm just typing on the computer, talking to other people, like saying, hey, I need you to get this folder or that, and just kind of doing some improv. And I like to also direct some of the characters, especially some of the young actors. I find it fulfilling when I can tell them, hey, you know what? Go over here and get a folder and give it to me. Or I tell them, hey, go over there and talk to that person and then come back. And then when the camera's rolling, do that. And it seems like I'm able to kind of direct a little, which I've been doing. I have filmmaking for dummies. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'd like to get some direction work or filmmaking work under my belt also.
Well, when you were on Chicago Med, were
Yeah.
you a supporting actor?
No. I was actually like in the background. They still call it they call it either a featured extra or an extra. That is what they are. I wasn't an actual character on Chicago Med.
What about, you mentioned Batgirl? What was it like being on Batgirl?
Okay.
Batwoman, I do apologize.
Sure. What that was, it was mainly like the scenes. It was a lot of background too. A lot of this stuff is like before I started to get speaking roles, and I remember there was one scene in Daily Plaza where there was somebody speaking, and it was like a villain. And we had to run because like what they put in the picture was like all these bats flying around everybody's head, and we were all running away screaming. And we did like a take like 10 times doing that. But it's always interesting when they do that. I mean it's like being something bigger than what as an actor, you're part of something bigger when you're on these movie sets or you're on this. It's kind of like that Hollywood magic where you feel the Hollywood magic when you're on these sets. And that's kind of like Batgirl. We had this big scene where we all ran and said, "Oh, bats, bats, bats!" And we did that. It was just like a scene where you're part of that movie magic. You're part of the TV show, movie, or whatever you're doing. It's just great, and that's what I really like doing that.
Do you keep in touch with any of the castmates?
Yeah, I keep in contact with directors. I keep in contact with previous directors. Um, let's see who else. Actors. I talk to actors. I usually friend them on Facebook. The thing that I do when I get to a set, and this is a good tip, is I always ask the actors, where did you get the lead for the audition or the lead for the acting job? And they'll tell me. They'll tell me either I got it from 4-Star, or I got it from Facebook group, or I got it from Backstage, or casting networks, or wherever they get it. They'll tell you, and then you can kind of connect with where they're getting the action, where they're getting the jobs and everything. And also, I like to connect with them on Facebook, and then I like to take a group picture with them. So I get connected with them, and there's a lot of actresses. When a director needs another actress or actor, I just kind of dial up my Facebook buddies that I acted with, all the actors I know, and just forward them the audition or anything. And it's all about connecting. And you know what? Those actresses and actors return the favor also. So when they know of something, they're going to tell me, and that's kind of what I do on the set, and that's how I kind of network and things like that. So.
No, absolutely. So the next question I want to ask you, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you say yes? And actually, let me just break it down a little more so it's more in depth. When I first sent you the email, was there like any red flags? Were you hesitant? For our listeners and viewers who want to be a guest on the show and people who I approach, what was your first reaction when you got the email?
Well, I to be honest with you, I get dozens and dozens of people all day long wanting to talk to me. And whether it's women or whether it's other people that want to connect, or if it's something else. But I saw that you had a talk show, and it's been a while since I've done a talk show. Before the pandemic, I did it with Onion Press. And I don't know if it was a talk show, but I think it was a prank or something. And it was Onion Press in Chicago. I went down to their studio and they were asking some pretty bizarre questions. And I just thought, hey, you know what? My movie's coming out. I could use the publicity. I could use the film could use publicity. And I think as an actor, I mean, I got 7 years worth of acting that I've been doing as far as acting jobs, being in the industry, networking and learning things like that. I have a comedian right now that's a veteran comedian. He's been doing it for 15 years. He's getting tips off me to become an actor, and I should be charging him. But he knows that I know a lot of stuff about the industry, and I do know a lot of stuff about the industry, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is any publicity helps, anything finding about the films that I'm doing or that I have done or I have in the works or I'm talking to people is definitely something good as an actor to keep getting publicity for. So that's why I took the interview, as to get more publicity and to enrich your show also. So yep.
Now, the other part is that, well, usually I don't like dissect the question. It's usually when I send the, well, I did again. When I first, pretty obviously you answered it, but usually when I ask, when I first sent you the message, what was your first reaction? How do you feel now? And would you recommend it? So my other two questions is, how do you feel now? And would you recommend it to other people?
Yeah, I definitely would recommend it to other people. It's an informative. I didn't know I knew like all this history about me acting and what I've been through and everything with as far as acting. So I mean, it's definitely something I would recommend. I'd not only recommend it to other actors, but comedians or writers or anybody else in the entertainment industry that wants to talk not only about their craft, their history, or what they're doing, or even how the industry is as a whole too.
No, absolutely. Now, how can our fans and listeners get in touch with how can our fans and listeners get in touch with you?
Okay, I'm on Facebook as Aaron Lee Johnson. You can follow me on there. Also, it's Facebook /actor Aaron Lee Johnson, one name. I'm also on Instagram at actor Aaron Lee Johnson, or at actor Aaron Lee Johnson. And I also have a YouTube channel. You can search Aaron Lee Johnson to pull up some of my videos. I have some stand-up that I've kind of been messing around with and some monologues, things like that. It's kind of like an experimental channel. I like to copy and paste the YouTube channels when I have auditions and when somebody's wanting to get a sample of what I do and everything. So that's how you can get a hold of me, or that's how you can follow me and connect with me online also.
No, absolutely. And this video will be up and anywhere. When I don't do my interviews, SLA, my disability shows more, and talk to a host with a disability. But you would think after 1,043 episodes to be an expert at this. But
Yeah.
every episode's different. But with that being said, this will be shared on Facebook, YouTube, and all social medias. If you're watching, definitely like, share. Let me know if you like the background, if I could change the format. Usually I do like boxes, but you know what? I saw this. I'm like, you know what? Why not do like a third show? Because I have my red show, I have my blue show. Why not have a gold show? And I'm like, oh, well, this looks like we're actually sitting in the same room together. So the Keith Andrew Network universe is always expanding. Brand new guests, brand new episodes. But with that being said, it was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest. And I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. Until we meet again, catch you later. Thank you.
Okay.
And
Thank
have
you.
a good night.
All right. Bye-bye.